Hi friends, my name is Kim. Welcome to Cottage Kim Cooks. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm so happy to have you with me today. And today we're going to make a quick and easy recipe I just found online. Baked Caprese. I think it's pronounced Caprese. Baked Caprese chicken. And it calls for 3 to 4 chicken breasts. I'm going to use what I have left from what I cooked the other day when I made those chicken wonton tacos from Applebee's. If you didn't check that video out, you need to try those. Those were absolutely delicious and we ate every last bite of those. But I'm going to use the leftover chicken from that. I'm going to start by cutting a red tomato. And as usual, I don't have all of the ingredients that it calls for. So we're going to make do with what we have. So we have our onion, and I'm going to go ahead and clean up my chicken breast. I only used half an onion. It does call for a whole onion, so if you are using 4 chicken breasts, by all means go ahead and use a whole onion. And we're just going to clean this up. We don't need to cut them. And I have my oven preheating to 425. This is an oven recipe. And it calls for fresh tomatoes. I don't have fresh tomatoes, but I have a can of tomatoes that I canned last summer, and I'm going to go ahead and use those. First, I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so that's my oven telling me that it's ready. So we want to salt and pepper these. Onion skin in there. And it does call for basil, oregano. You could use Italian seasoning. I don't actually have either one. So I'm putting the onions in, and then I'm going to use my favorite, you probably haven't seen me use it in a while, but this ultimate garlic seasoning. And it has dried onion, garlic, salt, green onion, natural flavors, and parsley. So we're going to give that a try with this. And then we're going to open up these tomatoes. It does call for dried garlic powder, so if you do use oregano or Italian seasoning and basil, you want to go ahead and, am I doing this wrong? Oh yeah, it is. I'm going to go ahead and use some garlic powder as well. It does call for a couple tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and it says to just put it over the top. And it calls for 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And it says to sprinkle that over the top as well. And even with the brown sugar, this is still diabetic friendly. You could leave the brown sugar out. I'm going to add my can of tomatoes. Try not to splash this on myself. Or my jar of canned tomatoes, I should say. They smell fresh. And then we're going to cook this for 18 to 24 minutes, depending on the thickness of the chicken. Then we're going to pull it out, and we're going to add mozzarella cheese across the top. So if you're familiar with a caprese salad, you know that it's basil, mozzarella, and tomatoes with balsamic vinaigrette or a balsamic reduction. And one of my favorite salads, but that's basically the concept for this. So we're going to see how it tastes. Okay, it looks like the chicken is done, but I am going to test it. We want the chicken to get to 165. It's not there. Check this piece. Nope. So we will put it back in the oven for about 10 more minutes. Okay, let's try this again. Remember, we want it to get to 165, and I think we're there. Yep, we are there. So now we're going to add our mozzarella cheese. I'm using shredded cheese, but if you want to make this gluten-free, you make sure that you shred your own. If you have fresh mozzarella, you could use that. That's how the salad is actually made. And we're going to put this in the oven and we're going to turn the broiler on. And we're going to melt this cheese. While we're waiting for that to brown the top of the cheese, I'm going to give you the nutrition information. So this, like I said, would typically be made with 4 chicken breasts, and it would be 4 servings. Your calories are 335, your carbohydrates are 12, and your fiber is 1. So you're looking at 11 net carbs. So this is a lower in carb meal, definitely well below that 45 grams of carbs we try to stay under to be diabetic friendly. Your protein is 28 grams, so that's really good. And your cholesterol is only 87 milligrams, so it's under that 100 milligrams I try to stay under to be cholesterol friendly as well. So let's give this a look and see how we're doing. Okay, the cheese is melted, and mine is very liquidy because I used that jar of canned tomatoes that I canned. I'm going to take a bite right out of the pan because I'm going to plate this up for dinner. And it's going to have to cool a minute because it is definitely hot. Look at that cheese. My favorite part. That is very good. I love my canned tomatoes so much, I can't tell you. You got the garlic flavor, the onion. If I had had Italian seasoning, I think that would have been better. But like I said, it's not seasoning that I use normally, so I didn't have it on hand and went with just that garlic, ultimate garlic seasoning. And it is delicious. And the mozzarella cheese melted on top is perfect. This would be great with some noodles. And it is low enough in carbohydrates that you could have some noodles with this, but if you want to keep it low carb, eat it just like it is, have a little bit of salad or maybe some roasted green beans. That would be really good with this, or some roasted broccoli. But I think it's a winner. So like I said, 335 calories, only 11 net carbs, and 28 grams of protein. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Share the video. That helps my channel, helps other people find my diabetic friendly recipes. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and sometimes TikTok. Depends on the length of the video, whether or not I get to put it on TikTok. But I think this one will be short enough. I really, really enjoyed this dish, enjoyed our time together, and I look forward to cooking with you again soon, friends. Take care.